Oh no. Hold on. Let me see if I can edit this. Tell me if you can hear me in chat. Nobody's responding. Okay, loud and clear. Great. I think that check that out. So you can see. Well, now I can't time this. Okay, so that's not a red pepper. This is a pomodoro. Ruth, come on. It's tomato. It's the anger. It's the anger tomato. how how could you guess? How can you guess this? Welcome to the anger tomato. Here you go. We always wondered. There's even a analog bell in here. You can hear it. All right. So somehow my phone decided. Let's see if I pause this. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's not what we want. Okay. Wow, this is just amazing. So because my phone is like on the network, it decided to be my camera, and I didn't mean for that at all. So well, yeah, you can see my reflection. Very astute, Marjorie. Yeah, maybe we should guide some sort of meditation about Indra's net or something, or Indra's angry tomato, or anger tomatoes. Well, this like part of me is like wants to be mad, and the other part of me is like, well, this is how we keep it spicy or whatever. What is the Alan Watts quote? Something like, imagine all of reality, and at some point in time you would get bored, and then you would decide to have this dumb thing happen. So welcome to this dumb thing. I guess the other thing I could do, let's see. Yeah, point it at a mirror. That's one thing. Well, okay, so what we can do is this. We can just go like this. And then you can see Darth Maul. There he goes, Darth Maul. And we'll use the anger tomato, maybe? No? Oh, good times. Good times. We use this. So this is a piston. That's what my bell sits on, that my dad and my brother cut out of a car, and that's what I use for this. But it's heavy, which is really nice. Okay, so then there's this. All right. So this is totally not what we want to do, but meditation is all about rolling with whatever happens. So I'm going to try to figure out if I can find a clock on my computer that I can use. We'll figure this out. All right. So welcome to Chaos. I'm your host, Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. And when I'm not doing this, I'm being frustrated by the world, I guess, just to be honest. Although Aimless and Snowma can tell you that the ways that software gets done is often through sheer force of determination and frustration. Oh, hey, you can see this is part of what you see in the background. You can see Gordie Howe's there. Mr. Hockey, Gordie Howe. Oh, and look, there's other things in here. So that's a yurt. That's a thing from our trip. And then over here is Bodhidharma. And then there's a postcard from Tiger's Nest. And then I made this mind-bending thing. I made this, and I should have printed it on better paper, but I printed it on newsprint. So, all right. No, Paul, this was my plan. I'm gonna pull back in a second. So, but you're right. I'll make eye contact. We have a bell. We have a thing. Now we just need to. I think I've been talking for like 5-6 minutes. What are we going to do? We're going to practice meditation technique for 25 minutes. Most of that time will be around a very simple meditation technique, and the last 5 minutes will be, and that's 5 minutes, will be about nothing, doing nothing. And so people will ask me often about why do we do this or what's the point of this? It's the notion of contrasting. What does it feel like to implement a technique with not having a technique at all? And so it's like, what is it when we're doing something where we're kind of doing something or not much of anything, I guess is another way to say that, versus just letting things be. And that's like sort of this wu wei kind of quality. So, oh yeah. So what is this? What does Shinzen do too? I missed it, but okay. So yeah. And so we can think about that as an opportunity to contrast a technique, the implementation of a noting technique, or in general, with sort of the not doing anything at all or just sitting. And so that's the yes. Thank you, Paul. Contrast. So we're contrasting techniques. I'm not doing it quite in a way, and I'm not doing it in the approved Shinzen way, but I'm doing it close. It's close enough. So, well, you're totally fine, Paul. It's been an absolute roller coaster of folly. So no worries there. Somehow we're getting to use my phone as the camera, which I had not wanted at all. But we're gonna roll with it. So yeah, so people will ask me about why do we do that, and it is a chance to kind of see that comparison, maybe, and comparison in a good way. So we can think about, when we talk about comparison, we're comparing ourselves to others. Generally, from a practice perspective, that's like poison. That's like a bad deal. Like, don't do that if you can avoid it. I spent a fair amount of time. So if you're anything like me, you do that. Do is a good pun in that regard, because it gets you into a lot of crap related to, like, they all get it and I don't, which is something that I punish myself with a lot. So the contrast is really just to get an idea of putting you in a situation where you can pair a technique to where you're at a given point in time. And this dovetails into what Jeff talks about with being your own teacher. And so being your own teacher is being able to know, hey, like, I'm super like agitated at the moment. And so, like, I probably would benefit from a practice where I work with my home base and I can get some stability, or there's a few calm, or there's a few deep breaths, a few deliberate breaths. And those deliberate breaths may make me more calm, and they might not. But I'm going to do those deliberate breaths to see if I can shift that state. So part of it is around that, being your own teacher, and being your own teacher is being able to kind of pair that. Now, you could be your own teacher and pairing it with a guided meditation that is the guided meditation that you want, something along those lines. So that's a lot of words, but hopefully that helps frame a little bit with where we're going today. So we're going to do, last time we did we do hear rest last time? I can't remember if we did hear rest or not. We're going to do focus in. So there's 3 categories. So there's mental image or vision. There's mental talk or auditory. There's physical body sensations and emotional body sensations. And so we have an out and an in all 3 of those categories. So we have see, hear, feel. And so what we're going to do today is you're going to get to choose focus out or focus in. So I'm going to guide around focus in, but you'll have the ability to say focus out. So focus out for me sometimes can be helpful in like I'm grounding out into the world, into the stability of the physical area that is around me. And then focus in can be beneficial if I'm just trying to kind of get an idea of like what's going on. I talk about taking your inner weather reading at the top sometimes. And so that's one of those things. So I'm going to have to do a little bit. I'm not going to be able to use my talk timer app like I normally do because it's on the phone right there. But yeah, I'll stop saying we're just going to roll with this because we are just going to roll with it. We don't have to talk about that. All right. It's 26 minutes past the hour. We'll go to 51 minutes past the hour, and I'm going to invite the bell. All right. So from a combination of show and tell, I'll put that right there so you can see it for the. So I'm in this kind of agitated space or this like mild low-level panic. So I'm going to establish my posture. Using a chair, so I'm in a seated posture. So I could be sitting in a chair, I could be sitting on a cushion or a bench. All of those are perfectly valid. I could be standing, I could be lying down, I could be walking. Slight adaptations would be needed in those cases. For the seated posture, I want to preserve or allow the natural curvature of the spine. So that's what I mean when I say upright without being uptight. Shoulders over hips. Allow the chin to dip slightly. And I don't always show this, but I'm often doing this. I call this a mudra, hand shape. So my left hand is resting in my right hand. My thumbs gently touching. This is sort of comes from the Chan and Zen world. And then I offer this notion of just checking in to see kind of what the inner weather is. If I'm pushing too much on my thumb or my thumbs aren't touching, I can kind of get a feeling of like where I'm at, if I'm paying attention or not paying attention. Am I a little more stressed and I don't realize it? Just trying to use these bodily indicators where the body's trying to tell me like what's up and I may or may not be listening. My mind may or may not be listening. Checking to see if there's any tension. You'll carry your attention in areas that you may become familiar with, but if you're not yet familiar, you can bring a bit of curiosity. What's that like? Is my shoulders really tight, or my shoulders climbing up to my ears? See if we can allow the shoulders to be down and slightly back. And then a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is the tempo we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to slow that breath down, sink low into the belly. And as that breath turns around and becomes the exhale, you can see if we can extend it. I don't expect to feel better after a few breaths, but I often find that I feel better after a few breaths. So if I can avoid bringing the expectation, I often get that settling. So what I'm going to offer for a technique is choose your own adventure. So we're going to do focus out or focus in. So I give a little bit of framing at the top. You're always welcome to allow my guidance to be in the background. Practice your own technique. So if you choose focus out, that's see out, hear out, feel out. And if you are focus in, that is mental image, mental talk, emotional body sensation. So see in, hear in, feel in. The structure of our noting practice is the same. So the focus out is our focus range. If I find that I'm getting caught up in mental talk, I notice that, and with care, switch my attention back out. And the inverse being true, if I notice that my vision or whatever is causing me to get caught up and pulled away when I'm focusing in, with care, I notice that, avoid beating myself up, bring myself back to my focus range. The instruction for a noting practice is that we notice where our attention is, soak our attention into it, and then optionally label. I have no idea if you can hear this, but it just started raining at my house, and that is glorious. So you may notice that something from the focus out range impacts our focus in. That just happened to me. So both a delight and an opportunity for me to bring my attention back to the focus range. So our attention is moving, we're noticing where it is, soaking our attention in, optionally labeling. And if we feel like we've been pulled away, just beginning again, bringing back, starting over. All right, I'll let you explore on your own. And if you get distracted by what's going on in your environment, again, opportunity to bring an attitude of no big deal. Just do whatever is necessary. If the dog needs to go outside, if the kids need access to something, go ahead and take care of that and then come back to your practice. Or it could just be as simple as stretching up in your posture and settling back in. So each distraction is an opportunity, and that opportunity gives us the ability to train our skills. And if you get distracted, reset, begin again. And this is your opportunity to put our technique we've been practicing together off to the side with care and shift into do nothing. And with do nothing, our focus range is nothing or no focus range. And our instruction set is to let go of our intention to control our attention. And in doing this, you can kind of achieve almost kind of a natural focus by not focusing. It sounds very confusing, but I'll offer that as a thing that is possible. And there's also the possibility of just kind of a bit of an relaxing, nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. In fact, there never was. So you have a chance to explore, do nothing, and just sit. I'll invite the bell to signal the end of our sit. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your patience. May the fruits of our practice be for the benefit of all beings. May our actions be for the benefit of all beings. Humanity's bow. I have to get out of the practice of wanting to bow. I want to bow at the end of every sit. Thank you for your patience with all of this. I was afraid at some point I was going to end up with my phone being the camera, and that fear has come true now. So definitely a different perspective. Jeff is back from the meditation retreat that he was at, so he will be your guide on Sunday. BrookeMeditates.com. That is BrookeMeditates.com. I think Brooke might be back from the Pacific Northwest. I won't be able to join tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, but Brooke will be there, and there will be people meditating. And then I hopefully haven't missed my window. I will be recording with Ralph hopefully tomorrow. I don't want to jinx it. And we're going to talk about Gone. So Bond, I don't know if you heard the thunder and lightning, but it rained for like 45 seconds and then thunder and lightning. There's a Sit Heads tomorrow too. Interesting. Okay. I don't know that I'm... Jeff has been on Sit Heads, which is a great meditation group name. I think this is it. All right, I'm going to drop this in. I'm pretty sure that's it. And then Cara Lai, I think, is still doing Meditate Your Face Off and a few other things. So Kara's got some... Okay, so you heard the lightning and the thunder? Excellent. So Cara probably has some things as well. Oh, hey, 2 weeks in a row. You got a streak going, Jason. Awesome. Well, not awesome to the agitated, anxious human, but that, yes. I'm all sorts of going. I'm doing the sine wave a lot these days. So I'm trying to think. So I was talking about Ralph. Ralph and I are going to talk about Gone versus rest versus flow. I think that's what we're planning to talk about. And I'm not sure how long the conversation will be, but I probably will cut it up to try to get something that is shareable for kind of what I think is a adequate response that I did not provide, because I did not provide an adequate response. And then we'll see kind of where it goes from there. I did find out that Ralph, people that don't know, Ralph Andredez has filled in for me. Ralph was also a mentor and a teacher for the cohort that I was in for UM. I think Ralph is considered a UM teacher, so meaning that he is at the higher status, and he does teach resorts. Ruth would remind me that you could find more from Ralph at, I think if you search for Seeds Meditation Group, I won't find the link really quick, but just a plug for folks from that. So Seeds Meditation Group is a lot of the folks that are the early cohorts. So they're either my cohort or the 2 cohorts or 3 cohorts before me. I think I was cohort 4 in 2019. So yeah. And then UM Wiki. That's right. I think that's Wiki, unifiedmindfulness.com maybe. Let's just guess on that. Close enough, right? Close enough for rock and roll. But those are all things that you can find. Like Jeff has pointed out, there's trying to get together kind of a map of all of the possibilities that you have. Like I know folks like Lisa and others have pointed out that they found the groups to sit through that. So through Do Nothing Project and Brooke and here on Wednesdays. So definitely want to keep that going. Yeah, I probably should just stop trying to pull things out of my brain. Yes, as Paul pointed out, thumbs up. I know what I was going to do. I provide like sort of spontaneous book recommendations for like things that I'm reading in the reminders for this. So if you send an email to the email that is in chat right now, you'll get a reminder on Tuesday, and then you'll get a reminder about 2 hours before the Wednesday sit. I'm trying to figure out how to automate the stuff on Instagram, because I know that there are folks who say, oh yeah, I forget about Wednesday, but when you post on Instagram, I see it and I remember. So I am hearing that. So, and then a couple folks have reached out that I know folks watch the recording. So, and I think I still have it set so the chat doesn't show up in the recording. So I think there's a way for you to message me on YouTube if that's the case. Happy Thursday to folks in Australia. I see my Australian views and it warms me and gives me great delight. I love Australia. Let's see. I think that's it. So I just finished a book called The Bird Detective, and it's about this gal, Roxy Laybourne, I think is, but they just call her Roxy throughout the book because she was married 4 times or 5 times. So she had different surnames all that time. And she did the forensics background for how they identify bird strikes. And it's super interesting. So it may not sound interesting, but really, really was. So those are the kind of random book recommendations that I include in the messages on Tuesday. I have a Substack. I swear I'm going to do something with it at some point. And then if and when I have information about the DMP move from primary YouTube to Substack, I will try to give you all the Come on Wednesdays advanced info on that. So, and next week I'm going to figure out how to not be on this. So anyway, have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Sunday. And 3 weeks, Jason, sounds like a good streak. So we'll see you here next week. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I am thinking about trying to figure out an impromptu, I'm calling it a meditation intensive. So it would be like a 30-day meditation thing that people would normally call a meditation challenge. I don't want to use the term challenge because you're setting yourself up for some weirdness. So just a meditation intensive. And I'm thinking about trying to host it on the school platform as a way for folks to do check-in and stuff. So anyway, that's a thing I'm thinking about. If that sounds interesting, so that would be like either a 14 or 21, and then just sort of like, so that would be one form, and maybe 30 sounds good, but it would be kind of a meditation intensive. And the hope would be for accountability and really just to kind of see like if we put a little bit of attention behind that, or maybe attention is not the right term, but a little bit of dedication behind this with the structure, is it easier for that? There's a website called, it's SKOOL, so SKOOL.com, and so it's pronounced school. And so I noticed some groups that were doing things through school platform. I also think that I could possibly do it through Substack, and so I'm trying to figure out, like I often do, I'm making everything complicated for myself. So maybe I should try to find the simplest thing possible. But it would be a little bit like the 7-day challenge structure that the Happiness 10% Happier had done in the past. So something like that. And so I just thought it would be a interesting experiment. And maybe it'll be cool, and maybe it'll be like a wow, that was wild, and I'm glad we tried it, but maybe we shouldn't do that again. So yeah. Yes, it's like the 30-day juice cleanse, but for meditation. So something along those lines. And I may try to look at it as a mindfulness sort of thing, and that gives us a little bit more entry for continuity of practice, and not necessarily having to meditate for 5, 10, 15 minutes every day. And then leaning into the ish part, where if you miss a day or two, which I am doing a lot of these days, it doesn't make you don't beat yourself up about it. So anyway, that is a thing that I've been thinking about. I'll see if I can try to nudge that down the road. So, all right. Thank you for your attention. Sorry to make you late for whatever you have at the top of the hour. Have a great Thursday.